Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today's October 1st. It is Friday, and it's going to be a good Friday because today is robots and nonsense, and it's actually probably like 90% nonsense.
It's not the Good Friday.
No.
Don't misinform.
It's a good Friday, though, because it's October. It's like the best season. It's fall.
And Linode is sponsoring us from October until the end of the year for Devember.
An exciting. Oh, wow. We're already there.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I got to start doing the
crazy.
Minecraft server stuff.
Now, should we do a different game this year?
We can solicit feedback from patrons and people on the forum, so let us know.
We're not doing Valheim.
No,
Valheim's too grindy, I think. But
Minecraft is timeless in a way that Valheim just isn't.
No, not
But
yet.
what's hot right now? What can we host that's hot right now?
It doesn't even have to be hot right now. Minecraft is not hot right now, and yet it's still played by tens of millions of players.
Yeah. Well, with Minecraft, though, having a relatively small group of insanely dedicated individuals results in something cool.
Yes.
That would not be the case in Valheim.
Yeah, we're going to be preserving the Minecraft map, don't worry, and backing it up. I've made provisions so we'll be able to run it even on an upgraded server. I just got to dot some I's and cross some T's there, the infrastructure.
Perhaps we should stick with Minecraft. We'll start a new server.
But also we have to keep the old one.
But this year we give them a more structured goal.
I was gonna say, we talked about doing creative mode as well, because last year it was all survival, and like I thought that would slow them down. No. It didn't slow anybody down.
But I think we need that. If without that, what will happen? And they might just leave orbit. Because they're so crazy.
One of the things that Mr. Beast did when he did a Minecraft thing was he gave everybody a plot of land, and it's like, this is your, here's your X and Y coordinates, but you can do whatever you want in your Z coordinates, but you can't go outside this plot of land, and that was pretty effective.
Well, our system had that inherently.
Well, you could claim it, but you had to log in.
Yeah, and you can also expand your claim, and
there were still ways to grief that. This was just fixed.
We can lock that down.
Okay.
But again, I think we should come up with a theme or a goal or something like that.
Probably.
They'll give them a task.
We had close to 100 entries last year. Like I had to make there was like an Excel file, and I went through and recorded each one. And
we had over 250 participants. It's just they didn't all finish.
Yeah, a lot of people started stuff and then didn't enter officially.
Well, Krista, that's a good lesson. Block some time off.
Well, I did. It took a while. It was good.
Block some time off. Let's talk about robots. And let's talk about FedEx, who has, I don't think they're the first to do this, but they're a big name, and they're going to start using autonomous trucks.
FedEx uses autonomous trucks for the first time on delivery route. If for no other reason, you should check out this article to watch the video. They do have a safety driver, but boy, these trucks really are doing well on interstate driving.
I don't know if that's the truck. I assume it is. Why else would they show us this picture? Now, this does look like a very friendly piece of road right here.
Yeah.
It's between Houston and, what was the other one?
Dallas. 500 miles round trip.
They will do it 3 times a week. You know what just occurred to me? I think you would be one of the least useful safety drivers.
Yes, absolutely. I was thinking about that as I was watching the video, which was, how did these people not go absolutely insane? I don't think I could find enough to keep my mind occupied to actually have the road be driving. I could probably tell you the exact number of blue cars that there were on the entire trip, and it still wouldn't be enough.
Well, yeah, because you can't really split your attention that much. Like, you can't be just in the back of the cab, just like hanging out.
You have to be able to focus for a long time.
Yeah, you have to be able to focus and not make decisions about driving the car, which I don't think I could do it.
Could be a fun video. But there is one job where you do have to pay a lot of attention, but it's even worse, and also because of AI.
Amazon's AI cameras are punishing drivers for mistakes they didn't make. Oh, it's that AI assistant. So a car cuts you off. That's their fault, right? Nope, that was your fault.
They also describe things like spending too long checking your side mirror if you're merging. That's taking your eyes off the road. Yikes.
And it's real time too. So like if someone cuts you off and you have to brake, it's like, hey there, you're tailgating that guy. You better stop that.
And it's so specific that if you just stop too far back at a stop sign, it considers that an unnecessary stop and then running a stop sign. And of course,
Of course, there's no way to fight the algorithm.
Right. You will never get a human being. They talk about, if you're a driver, you never interface with Amazon anyway. You have a supervisor who has been hired by Amazon to be that thing. You know, it's the divorce. You're not an Amazon employee. But those supervisors have attempted to push back against you get a daily rating. And they just get no response. Just here's tomorrow's rating. Shut up.
The only way out is Apple's AI advocating on your behalf, because it's like you're getting real stressed out.
His mental health is really spiraling.
And this is not just something that will get you fired. It will get you fired if you're bad enough at it, but it stops you from getting bonuses. They interviewed one guy, and he was like, yeah, listen, I'm a god of Amazon delivery. And I used to get all the iPads and the bonuses, and I used to win all those fun little things. Not since they added the cameras. Haven't gotten a thing.
It's almost like that's probably what it was designed for.
It certainly did solve that problem, didn't it?
We don't have to spend money on making our employees feel better.
You know, I said that other story was the story of the week, but this is definitely the story of the week. And the crazy thing about this is on MSN, but it was written by somebody else originally, wasn't it?
That's at the top.
Is it?
Is it Weon?
WeonNews@gmail.com. Ron Bergman and Fazil Fasili.
I don't know what Weon is, but anyway, it's an amazing story, and nobody's denying it. They're actually bragging about this. Our government and the Israeli government worked together to do this, and they're like, look how cool this is. Look what we did.
Scientists in the AI-assisted remote-controlled killing machine. So apparently the remote-controlled killing machine was a remote-controlled sniper in a nest that was assembled piece by piece over a period of months.
No, it wasn't in a nest. It was on the back of a truck.
Or on the back of a truck, yeah. And it took months to assemble. And I got it assembled, and it was so accurate that it only killed the target. 15 bullets.
And it compensated automatically for the rock of the truck when it started shooting. Like, they considered that. And the other thing they considered was the 1.2 delay for when you hit the kill button. It would compensate for that. It was like, oh, you told me that 1.6 seconds ago.
The sniper was actually somewhere else watching a video feed.
All right, so this was a nuclear scientist from Iran. They're probably their best nuclear scientist. And he seemed like a wealthy man, obviously. I mean, you have that job in Iran, they'd probably give you whatever you want. So he was going on a holiday, and they're like, listen, bro, there's some talk that they might be taking a shot at you. And he's like, don't worry about it. Just going to head out to the coast for the weekend. And they planned this so perfectly. They knew he had to take a U-turn at a certain place. So that's where they put the truck.
Wow.
And they waited for him to take the U-turn, and then they had another dummy car that stopped him in the road. And then, like you say, 15 bullets. And they only killed one guy. His whole family was in the car. Then, because they did not want anybody to know about the AI killing machine, the truck was packed with explosives. But they did that incorrectly. And instead of, obliterating the robot, it just launched it. So Iran was able to retrieve that and study it. And now we know.
Whoops.
And then they've admitted it too.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot more of this.
It was like this is a very, 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 very early version of the Terminator.
But still pretty effective.
Yeah.
Imagine how good it's going to get.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking, well, if they can mount them to trucks, what else can they mount them to? I can think of a few things.
Boston Dynamics Spot becomes a robotic watchdog for Hyundai. It's doing security, yes, but it's also looking for safety things. It also has an infrared camera, so it can look for equipment that might be overheating or might be malfunctioning, but people are not aware of it yet because the machine's operating, but, giving off excess heat or whatever.
Or human beings that are running a fever.
Or, yes.
They didn't mention that one, but I bet he's looking.
Yeah.
And yes, I gendered him again.
The infrared things are really handy. I've used it here to find a circuit that was overheating, and it was like, oh, look, the wire's hot in the wall. That's bad. It was bad.
It's probably fine. Don't worry about that.
Do you think that when he finds that, do they give him a digital treat?
Yes.
Maybe they give him an NFT.
Yeah, because if you catch that before, it burns the building down or it causes something to explode, that's amazing.
Well, you know what's not quite so amazing? Full self-driving from Tesla. They still haven't quite gotten it right, but they do have a new version. However, there's a catch.
Tesla will open controversial full self-driving beta software to owners with a good driving record. You have to there's an apply for beta, and then it'll use the analytics from your last 7 days of driving to determine whether or not you can get the beta.
So you just have to be good for 7 days.
I was kind of thinking, wouldn't you want the people who are bad drivers to use the self-driving? But
no hard braking, no acceleration.
No, Krista, because that's how you get these headlines. Listen, the worst of the Tesla owners we've discovered just go to sleep.
Yeah. Pass out.
They don't care. I wonder, after you get it, are you in forever, or can you fall out by going back to your bad driving habits?
I think you get it forever. Or you get the beta
So you can stop using a blinker as soon as you want.
Yeah. After that, on the 8th day, you're just doing burnouts everywhere. Can you do burnouts in a Tesla?
You could teach the software to do burnouts, and it's like good Tesla.
You'd have to disable the driving aids, right? Does it let you do that? Yeah. My car lets you do that.
Yeah.
The big Inspiration 4 mission took a bunch of normies to space. Seemed to have gone okay.
SpaceX's private Inspiration 4 mission splashes down safely in the Atlantic Ocean, and they've got a video of it. Yay, the tourists are back.
There was a tweet that got a lot of attention. Mr. Musk said, they were like, oh, did anything weird happen? How was it? Did they like it? And his response was, we needed to improve the toilets.
Apparently no one likes getting the shit sucked out of them. But that's just the breaks when you go to space.
I bet somebody does. But not those people. And wasn't NASA working on that they never could figure out?
Yeah.
They had like a public proposal.
Yeah.
They're like, please, someone tell us how to solve going to the bathroom in space.
I think even the Mythbusters were working on that at one point.
It is basically just a shop vac.
Yeah. Ugh.
But when we do figure out the new space bathrooms, well, they can definitely put them on this new space station, and hopefully it will be a better experience.
NASA reviews private space station proposals and expects to save over $1 billion annually after the International Space Station retires. So they're looking at proposals from Musk and Bezos and others. It's like, wow, this is going to save a lot of money. It's only marginally more unsafe than what we've done.
20 years old. Think about getting into a 20-year-old car or a 20-year-old plane.
A 20-year-old car or plane that's been exposed to micrometeorites moving at thousands of miles per hour.
Yeah, so I can understand why they would be a little bit worried about that, but there is still a long time between building this.
Yeah.
So it's just going to get worse.
I was looking at pictures of the interior of the ISS the other day, and I was like, it looks a little dated. It's got some floral wallpaper on there. It needs to come down.
Yeah, well, the 2000s.
Yeah.
Remember that time?
Oh. Britney Spears was still free.
Oh, she was at her peak at that time.
I had braces.
Britney Spears was just, her wave was cresting at that point. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing her.
That was pre-conservatorship, yeah.
Yeah, before all the bad times. We've seen a number of really, really small robots. Remember the ones that can only do flips?
Oh, yeah.
And they would take them everywhere. They were supposed to be patterned after roaches.
Ugh.
And then they had the ones that were tethered, but they could fly. They were like basically little tiny bugs. And that was cool. But this one is definitely the smallest.
Flying microchips, the size of a sand grain, could be used for population surveillance.
That's a weird editing choice for the title.
Yeah, there's a picture there. They have to beam it energy.
It is so tiny. Now there are no moving parts or motors. These guys were patterned after maple seeds. If you don't know what a maple seed looks like, it's those little helicopter seeds.
Yeah, they spin down.
So what you're going to do, here's a better picture of it. You're going to launch that into the air, and then these little airfoils are designed in such a way to make it descend very slowly and to move laterally while it's doing that. So they will disperse.
In theory, could you breathe that in? It looked pretty small.
I'm sure you could, yeah.
Ugh.
You might get caught in your nose hairs.
Some microplastics.
I've got a pretty good-sized piece of pencil lead right there in my hand. Definitely bigger than the one in the picture.
You should swap that out for a bunch of these.
Yeah.
And then you could just launch them out of your hand.
I could fit at least 5 in there. Just
This is a fun story, and we're not sports people. Actually, we got a bunch of sports stories this week just because it's weird. But this is hilarious. I love this picture of this guy because he was like, you know what? I got one shot at this, and I'm taking it.
The 60-year-old vice president of a tiny South American nation picked himself to play for the pro soccer team he owns in an elite match. He knew his team was going to lose anyway, so he figured, why not have some fun with it?
And lose they did. 6-0. Which in soccer, I understand, is pretty extreme.
I'm sure that the losing team really appreciated having him on there.
He did not score any goals, obviously. No. And fantasy football continues to be a big thing. It used to be kind of a fringe thing, but now it's so ubiquitous that even the players themselves participate in it. And in weird cases, they can be playing against themselves.
Raiders kicker Daniel Carlson loses fantasy football match due to his own performance against the Steelers. So in the fantasy football thing, I guess he was playing against himself because he was on a different team?
So they match him up 1-by-1 in this league, I guess. And so his competitor that week had drafted him. And he hit 3 field goals and made every extra point kick. He made half of the score of the game. And so blew himself out of the water on the fantasy league.
All right.
He said that was unfortunate, but he still feels good about it.
Look at the sports ball go.
Listen, that's an impressive feat.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about football, so I'm like, cool, I guess.
Well, you're going to kick a little piece of leather that's oddly shaped and make it go straight for about 45 yards.
That's impressive.
Yeah. And the Oregon Ducks, now I didn't understand this, but they say the NCAA, are the Oregon Ducks a college team? Is that like a College of Oregon or something? Or is that a professional team? Has he gone to it? Again, our sports knowledge is very limited. But this gentleman is definitely looking at ways to make money.
Oregon Ducks star Kayvon Thibodeaux,
I think.
Thibodeaux, yeah.
Launches his own cryptocurrency. The coin J-Ream. It's going to be traded exclusively on Rally.
So they're talking about here, I guess maybe he started this when he was in the college system, but the NCAA, remember they had that rule where you can't make money if you're in college.
Right.
They've lifted some of that stuff. So now these really popular college players are going crazy with NFTs and stuff like this and cryptocurrencies.
They'll be able to pay back their student loan debt.
They have scholarships, Krista. They don't pay for that. You pay. They don't pay. We've been told pretty much every voice that I hear coming from the media is telling me that whiteness is bad, which is weird because this sounds amazing.
Scientists created the world's whitest paint. It could eliminate the need for air conditioning. That sounds like a TV show title from Comedy Central in the 90s. The whitest paint you know.
It sounds like one of those battery stories, doesn't it? Yeah, sounds too good to be true.
Maybe that's true in places where it's hot and dry, but like, how do you deal with humidity with just paint?
Well, so what happens is this stuff, it reflects infrared and heat in such a way that the surface of the paint will actually lower below the ambient temperature. So they claim.
We need to make all our roofs out of that, but everybody likes the look of a nice black roof, which is not good.
Can I paint my car this color? Imagine how annoying that would be. People just driving down the road like, oh,
so bright.
There was the guy that did the chrome mirror finish on his car got in trouble because people kept being blinded by it.
Yeah, it's a dick move.
Yeah,
for sure. But this is amazing stuff. Here's a picture of it. It doesn't look that white.
It just kind of looks like, a swatch of white on a gray board, but all right.
But he does now hold the Guinness Book of World Record.
This reminds me, we need to work on figuring out the formula for Starlight so we can all retire.
God, the New York Times paywall is so aggressive.
It really is.
Often you will hear, especially younger people, I guess mostly males, I know we're not supposed to differentiate anymore, but you'll have a conversation, who would win in a fight? You might throw out some superheroes, you might just pick like an animal or an animal versus human.
One horse-sized duck or 1,000 duck-sized horses.
Exactly, and it's all just speculation, but in some cases, we get a definitive answer. For example, penguins versus bees.
Endangered African penguins with multiple bee stings are found dead. Dead bees were found near where the birds died in a park in South Africa, and officials have suggested the bees may have become aggressive after their nest was disturbed. So I read this expecting there to be like 2 or 3 dead penguins. Oh, they found a beehive. They're after the honey. It was 36 penguins.
It was the entire migration.
That's
like
a lot
bees
of penguins.
in Don't Starve, when like you make one of them angry and they just swarm your whole camp.
It's exactly like that, Krista. So it turns out the penguins, though, like their feathers are so thick that a bee sting couldn't get through there. So the bees only attacked them around their eyes and beaks.
Oh.
Yeah, they had these clusters, and it was enough to kill them.
That means it was probably more than a few stings.
Yeah, they said that there were a lot of bees. Like the colony maybe didn't survive.
Surrey is in UK, right?
Is it?
I
thought this was Canada.
We got Auckland wrong last time, right? Or was it New South Wales we got wrong?
Some people comment on that. Scroll down. Surely it says in the article where it is.
I thought this was Canada.
Well, it says local news, but it's the Surrey Now Leader. These little local news sites is BC. That's Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, British
Surrey is in Canada. I'm now confident. They have rats.
Guildford rat problem is so bad, even the cats have given up, residents say. There's 50 in this trash can, and some of them are 2 feet long.
So they got this cat here, and she says that the cat in the past would chase the rats. He looks very healthy. I think he's being fed a lot. But now...
Not so much.
He just accepts them.
There's a lot of rats.
There's no pictures of the rats, unfortunately.
2 cars have been totaled from the chewing.
Because they ate the wires.
Yeah. Why do they do that?
Why would you continue to live there?
Also a good question.
They blame there's like some overgrowth next to the dumpsters, and they say that the overgrowth is a perfect habitat for the rats to live in while they scavenge from the dumpsters.
Oh, they talked about how they had dug tunnels. I didn't know rats would do that.
Tunnel rat?
Yeah.
You never heard that phrase?
Well, I mean, but like that was the thing they actually did.
No, there's an actual kind of rat. They're amazing burrowers.
Yeah, apparently.
Incredible.
The way that article made it sound.
And another depressing animal story, but it's kind of hilarious because it involves herpes and orgies.
Australian government plan to capitalize on carp orgies to cull the pest species with the herpes virus.
I'm assuming this is Asian carp.
It's some kind
Are
of
you in Australia? Engagement challenge.
Some kind of bottom-feeding invasive species.
Because there's an Asian carp problem here as well, and they also are struggling. They're like, please fish them out of existence. There's way too many of them.
So they're very confident that this herpetic attack will work. But the question is, what do you do with all of them? And the answer is you make cat food. My cats need cat food. There's a cat food shortage.
There's a shortage of everything.
Yeah.
You think can you not feed herpetic fish corpses?
Try Googling that. Chat, Google that.
I kind of doubt it. I mean, we're to the point where my mom just assumes that I'm a bad son because I won't get her the brand of peanut butter that she wants. And it's like, I've been everywhere. They don't have it.
She doesn't believe you.
Yeah.
What an amazing way to undermine her sanity if you were doing that on purpose. Imagine the trouble you'd have to go to.
It's like, they don't have peanut butter. I don't know what to tell you.
You got to do the thing like the Instacart drivers do. You got to take a picture when you're at the store and send it to her.
I did do that once.
Is there anything else here that you would like to replace this with?
It was just nothing. There were like all the tags on the shelf, and it was just barren nothing. And it's just like,
you moved them.
I got a different brand of peanut butter, but that wasn't good enough.
What's her number one brand?
Jif. It's got to be Jif. You can't be the Kroger brand. That's unacceptable.
It's because she loves that graphic interchange format.
I never understood like the whole I have to get the name brand thing. Maybe that's just like former poverty speaking because I always bought off brand.
They taste different, but I gotta say, Krista, I used to judge you on the bag cereal, but the bag cereal is superior because they still make some of that with oats instead of corn.
Right, and it tastes more. I mean, it's probably not exactly 1-to-1, but like it's 99%.
No, but I mean, in some cases it's better because you get that oat. Texture.
I gave her the remaining Jif that I had at home, and so I've been eating the Kroger peanut butter. It's fine.
It tastes the same.
It's tough to tell the difference.
It's perhaps a little more oily.
What could you... All right, now, okay, here you go. You've just solved the problem, because now she'll accept an open container, right? So now you just have to keep recycling.
Yeah. Although, if that goes wrong, it will prove that I have not been trying hard enough to find the name brand peanut butter.
You try hard enough to trick her with fake peanut butter.
No, tell her that you're sourcing it from other people. Well, no, but then she wouldn't want to eat that because then who knows who's been in there. Right? Yeah. That's a tough one. It's a tough one. Well, maybe you should have her trade cryptocurrency. And I know you're saying that she doesn't know anything about cryptocurrency, but apparently doesn't matter. You don't need to know.
Crypto trading hamster outperforms Bitcoin, Warren Buffett, and Cathie Wood. So there's this hamster that has a wheel, an exercise wheel set up, and some sensors. And so like it can go in and out, and depending on where the wheel stops, it's like Wheel of Fortune. And then which door he goes through, that decides if it's a buy or a sell. That's not it. It's the other picture.
Right, but this is amazing. Because all of this, Krista, is edible.
Yeah, of course. We'll chew on it.
So here it is. Yeah, he will, whenever he runs on the wheel, that initiates a trade. And the wheel determines what crypto he will be trading. And then depending on which hole he goes through, that's a buy or a sell. So he's up 30%. But unfortunately, he only started with like $390. So he's not recovered the cost of his habitat.
Oh, tragic.
But listen, he's still trading.
He's going to get it back one day, you see.
I remember we did this story originally, and it turns out the Hobby Lobby people are very religious. And there's a lot of these artifacts in Iran that are,
Iraq.
Yeah.
Oh, Iraq, I'm sorry. That are like, Christian artifacts, but shared, there's a lot of shared history in the religions.
Right.
And they're like, no, we must reclaim these for Jesus. And Iraq was like, bro, those are ours.
You literally raided the National Museum in order to get these.
And that court case has been resolved.
Ancient tablet acquired by Hobby Lobby is going back to Iraq. This is part of the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's apparently part of a dream that Gilgamesh had or something. And it was originally in the National Iraqi Museum.
And literally priceless. Although they did pay something for it.
I think they got it from a place in London. So, the story goes that they didn't know that it was stolen from the London museum they bought it from. But I feel like this is a repeated problem with Hobby Lobby where they buy these artifacts and they're like, we didn't know it was stolen. And it's like, did you not know?
Well, but they uncovered some emails where people had warned him. And they're like, bro, you know that these, half of this stuff is stolen, right? You need to be careful here. And he was like, I want it.
I want it. Don't care.
I need that. Do you know who I am? I'm Hobby Lobby.
I don't know the owner's name. He just identifies as Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's like Shakespeare. He identifies himself as the state, but instead it's Hobby Lobby. I am Denmark. I am the bead section.
I am America.
No, it's all Christmas stuff. So when you go to Hobby Lobby, they start putting Christmas stuff out and fall stuff in August.
Oh, you know what? We didn't go to Cracker Barrel this year to see when they did it. They keep moving it forward as well.
Hobby Lobby's probably the worst. Actually, all craft stores are the worst for that. They start putting Christmas stuff out in summertime.
Well, Krista, you probably have the best eye for fashion among the table here. Did you ever watch Battlestar Galactica?
No.
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 But I do know that you are currently nerding out over costumes and movies.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
So
I enjoy. There's a whole side of YouTube where people who actually know how to sew talk about that kind of thing.
So please rank these.
The U.S. Space Force will wear Battlestar Galactica uniforms.
All right, you ready for it?
Scroll on down.
Boom. The one on the right is Battlestar. The one on the left is U.S. Space Force.
They are very similar, aren't they? I mean, they look fine. Are those dress uniforms or are those what they wear all the time?
No, yeah, these are dress. And that's a commander.
So the jacket fits really well. What's happening with the pants? They seem a little baggy.
That is on purpose, right?
I don't know.
If you're in an Air Force type deal, because they used to call the 101st, the Nazis called them devils in baggy pants or something like that. Because they looked silly, but once they showed up, it was rough times. And there's the man, the legend.
That's the dress uniform, Star Trek dress uniform.
What year could he no longer fit into that?
The year right after that movie.
Yeah, I mean, they look nice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It's funny that they did just kind of blatantly take them from a sci-fi show, but
I feel like that's kind of what people want from the Space Force.
Yeah. It's well, what the hell are they going to be doing anyway? So
kind of a feel good. This one I just added because it's so horrifying. And do you think somebody did this just because they're a vandal or because they hated it?
Probably both.
It's awful.
Update: the hatched baby statue deemed irreparable after theft. So this is a statue that, well, it's not all of it. There was a baby climbing out of a broken egg. You got to show the broken egg part of it.
Yeah. So here he is. This guy that created it, and here's the egg. So someone took the head off of the egg. They stole it.
This looks like something that should have been on Facebook Marketplace.
So he created this, and his
there's a tiny picture of it right there. No, go up, right there.
His inspiration was the birth of his daughter because he said it was so terrifying that he wanted to create something that showed that terror. And here's what he came up with.
Yeah, but it cannot be repaired. It's just let it die. It's been there since 2008. The city where I guess because he has other artwork and I guess is a famous artist. And the city's like, we love to have this piece. I'm pretty sure this is the piece that they couldn't sell.
He was like, well, we're just going to throw it away. So
So just put it out.
have you guys seen it? It's really bad. Sometimes, you have that need to get extreme, and you have to do it. There is no question about it. You must do it, no matter what it costs you. And in this case, it cost this man his freedom.
Man charged with felony under 3 strikes law after police say he underpaid for a Mountain Dew.
This is very upsetting.
How much did he underpay for that Mountain Dew? 29 cents.
But the price listed for the Mountain Dew was 2 for $3. Now, if you do the math, it's going to cost you $1.50, right? He left $2. He overpaid.
They said no.
But he didn't actually pay for it. See, the impression I got here is that this guy's just kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Right? And he's been a repeated offender of these little petty crimes.
Yeah. He stole a bunch from Kmart and got caught.
Stole sneakers. And it's just stupid little things that just make him a horrible person. And then he decided to be cool and just slap down $2 and just walk out and not speak to anybody. Drop the mic kind of thing. Didn't work out for him.
But now the taxpayers get to pay for that 27 cents in
Yeah.
terms of like feeding and clothing him and keeping a roof over his head. Is it really worth that?
Also,
Is that crime really worth?
what a coup for Pepsi Corporation, right? That's an amazing advertisement. They'd have to pay $1 for it.
I think, from the taxpayer side of this, it's just like, I mean, if we're going to go for 3 strikes felony, it should be like 5 strikes death penalty. Like, let's just not have it be anybody's taxpayer problem at all anymore.
So you basically want to...
You just want to double down on that
Yeah,
system.
you want to give our leaders basically Xi Jinping power?
Yeah,
'Cause that's what they would do.
Yeah.
My point is maybe if I had been the judge in that case and it was like, you're really going to put this guy in prison over 27, I would have been like, here, take $1. I'll pay for it for this guy. Like,
You got to go live in Montana now.
Yeah, but if you got to go read his other crimes, Krista, because his whole lifetime he's just been a piece of garbage.
The other crimes were much more serious.
And
right.
No, they weren't that serious, but they had victims.
Yeah.
And if you were that victim, you'd feel differently about it.
It's
27 cents though. I don't.
It's also not a pattern of escalation either. Like, it doesn't seem like it's getting worse.
But it's continuing.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep happening.
Yeah.
27 cents.
Oh, why are people terrible?
Because they're people. It's what we are. This NASDAQ story is ridiculous. It's why did this ever get printed? But it's funny.
A Bitcoin price of $100K could come from a testosterone-fueled frenzy. The whole point of this article is that it's almost wintertime, and testosterone goes up in the winter.
Which I was surprised by. Do you think that's because it's good for babies to be born not in the wintertime?
Probably.
So here they've correlated the price of Bitcoin and the seasons. That's pretty much what they've done here. Good job, NASDAQ. But they did make a pretty decent stock photo. Krista, what do you think?
That's everything about, like, why is there a gradient? Is that from the website? What does the gradient add to this?
I'm pretty sure that they photoshopped his hand too, because the other hand is the wrong size.
But what was he holding before that?
I think it was just,
Oh, he was just flexing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. Also, like, you feel bad if you're the girl on the truck, right? You show up to the photo shoot and you're like, yeah, I'm beautiful. I'm going to be. And they're like, yeah, you're in the back.
Well, it might not even be from the same photo shoot. They may have just
Also
cobbled
true.
multiple images together.
Like, literally none of this existed at the same time. It's all stock photos.
I don't understand this at all.
No, this is weird.
I watched the video and decided that this is just, like, what is this?
Yeah, I guess it's just, they just want attention.
Maybe.
They got it, but...
Maybe the mom. I like to, in the best scenario, the mom is a big fan of Rick and Morty.
Or Soulja Boy. And how is Soulja Boy still making music? So many questions.
A woman who went viral for rapping Rick and Morty, which is the song by Soulja Boy, over her mom's casket says it was therapeutic. I didn't know that.
You didn't know what?
That Rick and Morty was a song by Soulja Boy.
Oh, I didn't know Soulja Boy was still making music.
There's not much to this.
They did it. They won't apologize for it.
They didn't do it well, even. It wasn't even good.
You think Soulja Boy does it well?
Better than that, I assume.
Is his rhythm still intact at this advanced age?
I don't even have any rhythm, and I knew it was bad.
He does the motorcycle move. That was like his signature move back in high school.
Well, I'm talking about, is he hitting the beat every time with his rhymes?
Oh.
Is that a muscle that deteriorates?
Man, if Soulja Boy, if TikTok had been around when I was in high school and like that "You" song was out, like that would have been, everyone would have been doing that dance on TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. That was a huge thing.
Yeah.
It was a cultural phenomenon for sure.
And then he just disappeared off the face of the planet.
Well, no, he's
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess he's around, but
he's watching cartoons. El Salvador, the Bitcoin phenomenon continues to roll on there, and a lot of people protested it. I wonder how much of that was real or how much of that was fabricated.
I thought, my understanding of the protests was that they weren't protesting really. It was that they didn't get what they were promised is why they were freaking out.
yeah.
But some of them didn't like the idea of Bitcoin because they were
high
like
fees.
street vendors and stuff.
Yeah.
And it threatened their business model.
Maybe they didn't want to pay taxes, or they're used to not paying taxes because it's a cash transaction. So a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of that. Anyway, he seems to have taken it in stride. This is apparently sarcasm, but no one's really sure.
El Salvador president changed his Twitter profile to dictator.
Please put that in yours.
Not ironically,
You should
but
change your
dictator.
dictator.
Historically, how many dictators have actually called themselves dictators?
Not many.
They almost always go with something democratic.
Yeah.
Or they're, like grand leader or, glorious leader, something like that.
And those Dennis Rodman documentaries, apparently like his friends, Kim Jong wants his friends to call him the Marshal. So Rodman, the whole movie just refers to him as the Marshal, and it never stops being funny. This is a story that points out not only that our judiciary system is hopelessly lost and must be replaced, but also that the bureaucracy of it needs to be relaxed because no one can tolerate it.
Solitaire-playing judge raises issue of procedural fairness in NMAX TransAlta Power lawsuit. So she was playing solitaire, which reflected off of the glass wall behind her, and it showed up later. And so she issued an apology and was like, well, I shouldn't have been playing solitaire, but I really was paying attention to your case, I promise, because I asked questions and I was prepared and I knew everything, and, it's fine.
Listen, I can't tell you how many hours I spend playing indie roguelikes while I'm listening to a podcast. It's doable. As long as there's no text on the screen, I'm fine. But a judge should not be allowed to do that. She's at work. I do not play indie roguelikes at work.
There've been a bunch of conference calls that I've been inflicted on me, and it's like, I could be playing Monster Train right now and still be like perfectly participating in the conference call, no problem.
You just got to make damn sure you don't go anywhere near that share screen button.
It is kind of sometimes like a competition for phone calls. It's like, how long can I last before I have to say something? Sometimes you can get through the whole thing with just saying thank you at the end.
Most of those conference calls, everybody feels the need to contribute, and that makes me even more reluctant to contribute because it's usually worthless.
Yeah.
Did one of you guys add this story?
No.
I don't know why I would have added this. I think this is something that is either we got the wrong link or it has changed. We're getting rid of it.
Okay.
Here is a story that once again shows the hypocrisy in government. I mean, we got a lot of examples of that, right? But this one's really, really in your face.
U.S. Rep. Virginia Foxx opposes marijuana legalization but has invested heavily in cannabis stock.
Hey, surprise.
So just like Pelosi, you can get this information after 45 days. And someone was looking into her, and sure enough, she's a Republican who is staunchly anti-legalization as far as her voting goes. But she owns quite a bit of, what was the name of the company? It was Altria. Yeah, I've made a little bit of money with Altria during the meme times. It's a cigarette company, but they're moving into other stuff because they know that cigarettes are coming to an end. Good job.
Not even surprising anymore.
She probably won't even sell it.
Probably not.
Because it's legal. Disgusting. I was just telling Krista about this story because I knew this would set her off. Because it sets me off.
Yeah, it makes me angry.
It is disgusting. And if these people don't go to jail, which they won't, it's even more disgusting.
Police leaked domestic violence victims' escape plan to abuser for family safety, court told. The guy who was abusing was a cop, and his wife, I guess, went to a supervisor there and was like, listen, I gotta leave, I'm going. And slowly that basically made its way around the cop station, and the cop did some bad things to the wife after he found out about it.
Sexual and physical abuse, pretty much the worst thing you can do. And so she went back and was like, hey, you all caused this. And they were like, no, that's protocol. But it's not.
They were like, we were concerned about his well-being. It's like, bitch, whose well-being were you concerned about? After she came to you saying, hey, I'm being beaten by my husband? What the fuck?
Do you think they went to him afterwards and pulled him aside and they were like, listen, Bill, are you doing all right after the rape? Are you okay? Do you need to talk?
I hate it. I hate this reality. Let me out. Let me out. Also, speaking of horrible realities.
I don't know. This could be good. It's just their voices. Nintendo is finally going to make a Mario movie, and you're saying, oh, no, Ryan, they already made one. Don't you remember? Oh, we remember. We were looking at clips earlier, and we were thinking to ourselves, you know what would be fun? We could watch this with a watch-along with our Twitch viewers.
You can't even get it on
not
Prime.
Even, yeah.
There's no streaming service. It's so bad. No streaming service cares about it. You can get the DVD for $3.99 from Amazon. It's Mario.
Chris Pratt is Mario in Nintendo's animated movie coming December 21st, 2022. So this is some pretty early news.
Yeah, there's some photos here. People were reacting all over the internet to this. This would have been a week ago now, but Chris Pratt as Mario.
Is Chris Italian?
No, I don't think anyone in the cast is Italian. Charlie Day is Luigi. Weird choice.
I really can't wait to see how that.
I don't know who this girl is, but she's a decent peach, I think. That was the closest one.
She was in that chess film that Netflix did. She's pretty popular from that.
Okay. I haven't seen that, but I have heard about it. But it doesn't matter because in a cartoon, you don't have to look like the character.
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
Well, they have Seth Rogen, I think, for Donkey Kong.
Okay.
Do you think they'll motion capture for that? I mean, surely not, though, because their proportions are so weird.
Yeah, that can't do that.
That worked okay for Gollum.
You think?
That guy was tiny.
Yeah. I have so many questions about it. It's like
That's what they
Are
want.
they all gonna have to do Italian accents?
See, Krista, you're playing right into their hands here.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have heard about it if people didn't lose their minds on the internet about it yesterday. So.
Yeah, I'm going to be totally disappointed if Chris Pratt doesn't break out "It's a Me."
Yeah.
But I think he's going to have a hard time doing that. Has he done accents in movies before?
I wonder if Nintendo's going to bother with getting the names right. Because in the old Mario movie, I'm pretty sure that the character's name was Mario, and Mario Luigi. Luigi Mario.
That was the name. Yeah, the official. I don't know. They will have to deal with that. Are you going to deal with the parents of Mario and Luigi? Because they are brothers, right?
They are brothers.
Well, in the movie, he was adopted.
What about Daisy? Is Daisy in this movie?
Yeah, that's Luigi's love interest. They didn't announce any casting for Daisy.
Poor Luigi. Kind of fits with the Charlie Day character, though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I saw a Photoshop of him with, like, from Always Sunny where he has the spaghetti. I was like, what's your spaghetti policy here? But he had the Luigi hat on. And I was like, maybe I could see that.
What's your spaghetti policy?
And again, it doesn't matter because, they're not the character. We're not looking at them. It's just the voice. But also, Luigi is big and lanky and tall.
Right.
And he's tiny. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, are they gearing that toward children or not?
Probably.
Is it going to be basically the same as
bringing Mario
Sonic?
to a new generation?
Probably.
Mario's been here for every generation. They've never left Mario alone long enough for any generation to not recognize
his corpse is never cold.
Here's a warning in terms of this is not an online scam necessarily, although I'm sure that was a portion of it.
A Utah woman loses hair and dignity, and confidence in phone scam convincing her to shave her head.
I read this article and I didn't understand. So did someone just call her and be like, you should shave your head? And she was like, okay.
I think it was a performance thing.
It was a known number and name, like someone she recognized. I don't know if it was because they were famous or what. And then they did double check that number, but they were just spoofing it. So she's not that bright. And she was like, oh my God, it's really that person. And I think this was a person kind of like the YouTube guy you mentioned earlier who does like the money prize stuff.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah. Kind of like that, where it was like, if you do this, you're going to get thousands of dollars. And she was like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then she did it. And
it was not real. It was fake.
I feel like if you just stopped and questioned that for like any point in the process.
She did a little bit.
Well, I think that was part of it. Like, you have to do it right now.
Yeah.
You know, time's running out. Also, a little, you know what? It's 2021 and we're not supposed to be doing these microaggressions. We're equating hair with dignity. Really?
I guess, I mean, I'm sympathetic because it would suck, but at the same time, like, verify. Trust, but verify. Like, who calls someone and tells you to shave your head right now?
Over in Afghanistan, they have won a war. And when you win a war, it's cool. You get some good times after that. When you lose a war, it sucks. But when you win, you get to celebrate. The problem they're running into is they have these really hard-line religious crusaders. And they really only have one function. So what do you do with them?
Taliban militants take swan-themed pedal boat rides in Afghan National Park. And oh boy, these photos are surreal.
With RPGs.
Look how happy they look.
Look at that beautiful water.
That water is gorgeous.
I'm getting an idea here. I want you to imagine basically the same thing as Brokeback Mountain, but same plot.
What if we held hands on the swan boat?
Ahmed, I cannot quit you.
Look at that. I understand he took it for the photo op, but why?
This has like GTA energy. Like this should be a screenshot in GTA.
Also, look at the draft on that boat. They are dangerously deep in
Yeah.
the water.
Well, all those weapons weigh a lot.
They're in full kit out there.
Wait, did we show them the picture? Did we skip over to that on the? There we go. Yeah, make sure they could see it.
And then
there's the same one.
original
Yeah.
one.
I wish it would have been funnier if they had like the little water guns on the front of the boats, and they were all just paddling.
Yeah. So I don't know what you do with these guys because they were saying that these guys are restless. This is a military force that you need to use because otherwise they're just going to go out in the community and cause trouble. And then as I was going through and reading the news, I saw on another website, the #1 article, the Taliban has announced that executions will continue. So they'll have a job
until morale approves.
Yeah. Duck boats are amazing.
Maybe
I was gonna say that does look like a beautiful national park.
Maybe that's how they're figuring it out if you deserve to be executed or not. Is like you go on the duck boat and if you laugh and enjoy it, you're going on the list.
Have you ever seen, I can't remember what it's called, but in the military, they do something to test if you will react to things. And the thing that they use now are those rubber ducks where you squeeze them and they make that awful noise. Those videos are absolutely hilarious. Because these guys are doing everything they can not to make a reaction. And the guy's behind them and he's got that duck and it's just like, and they can't do it.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to.
Well, that's it.
That's it for the week.
It's October.
Woo!
Oh,
Where does the time go?
Were we just doing one Linode per week in October?
No, the Linode ads will actually start next week. I just wanted to give you a heads up about November coming and all this stuff.
Okay,
So
yeah.
look forward to Linode ads.
Another announcement about November. You have to complete your project this year.
Yeah.
I'm not reading through other more incomplete projects.
Oh my gosh. And we haven't even announced the prize list yet, but there will be a purge. Oh, there will be a purge.
So stay tuned for that. Even if you don't like the content, you could get something.
Woo! Yeah. All right, we'll see you then. Bye.